Jesus, the criminal, made me a criminal. I have always tried to follow Jesus' example of being willing to stand up for what is right and true and act in defence of the vulnerable, irrespective of the cost. Jesus was wrongly convicted and sentenced to death. When I was 34, I wrote a Bible verse on the Houses of Parliament to protest about the B-52 desert bombing of Iraqi recruits during the First Gulf War. I was convicted of criminal damage, although what I'd written was easily rubbed off. 7 years later, I was arrested for nailing my proposals for reform of the Church of England to the door of Canterbury Cathedral, but released without charge. 12 years later, I was wrongly arrested by the police while supervising a safe adventure project with my children for school involving them reading a book on our house roof. Again, I was released without charge, and I then issued proceedings against the police at the Crown Court for the arrest. 7 years ago, I used social media to campaign to stop a known abuser from having access to children. The law was used to silence me, and I received a conviction for harassment and a restraining order. Can you appreciate the law's insanity when the abuser himself was able to use the law and the police to try and gag me? My conviction was quashed a year later, but during that year I refused to be silenced and continued my campaign as the abuser was intent on securing a position that would have given him considerable access to children. I was arrested 3 further times, spent days and nights in police cells, and was finally threatened with prison. I protested about the law, restraining orders, and the gagging of the press being used to obstruct those trying to protect children from abuse. My campaign succeeded in having the abuser's job application blocked and having him barred for life from having access to children. Yet the law perversely convicted me on a technicality of having breached the restraining order, even though it was based on a conviction that was later quashed. You can read more about it on my blog, the link to which can be found on my website, which is on my bio. I had followed the example of Jesus and was happy to pay the price, and was proud to be unjustly branded a criminal, like Jesus had been. The families of the children who had been abused were proud of me. My family was proud of me, and the church was proud of me. God relies upon good people to resist corruption, confront wrongdoing, and most of all, to protect children. One priest commented, "You brave, courageous, and wonderful man to stand up for the truth in the face of suppression and oppression. It's truly the act of a pure heart." Due to immoral reporting restrictions, unfortunately, the comments about this post have had to be switched off. Following the example and love of Jesus is not always a cosy option, and it can involve immense challenge and sacrifice in the pursuit of what is right and good.